My product uses basic horror movie conventions by using things like darkness, unknown sounds, and shadows to invoke fear and suspense. Conventions, which are elements or criteria that define a specific genre within a film. My use of little lighting is found in most horror movies and gives uncertainty and creates an uncomfortable feel. Most horror movies use this many times throughout a film, and it truly does invoke fear. So my initial thought when I heard about this project was a horror movie and to make sure it fits into its genre. Sound was used to create suspense. Usually in horror movies, you'll see one thing and hear another, hence asynchronous sounds. I use sounds to make you wonder what may be coming next. The classic horror movie indicators tell you what you should be looking forward to. In this case, the first 2 minutes keep you on your toes while not giving too much information. Honestly, with it being an opener, it uses some classic things featured in horror movies to get a sense of the genre. Without the full film or a trailer, this opening may represent influencers or YouTubers. Content creators often put themselves at risk while trying to entertain their audience. Anyone with basic equipment may aspire to become a creator. So I felt it was important to show the harsh reality of the dark possibilities that are typically overlooked. This opener may even just be relatable to anyone who has ever been in a scary situation alone and felt threatened in some way. While these groups are not connected, many fit into either category and relate to parts of it. This shows the issues in public safety. It helps show you never know what may happen because the world is scary and can be unpredictable. I mean, these people were just going out to film a YouTube video and boom, one of them dies. This really tells you how big of an issue public safety has become. So, no matter where you're going, what you're doing, you are susceptible to harm. This causes concern for those who travel but may be. This really tells us how big of an issue public safety has become. My product engages with audience by keeping them in a state of suspense and keep them wondering what happens next. It's meant for people around the ages of 14 through 25, but could really be for teenagers or adults. The film is for boys and girls, but could lean more towards girls. Due to its representation of content creators, it could be for anyone and does not exclude either side. It would most likely be rated PG-13 if distributed as a real media text. The film opener would likely be shared through online platforms such as YouTube, Vimeo, or any other platform where independent creators share their work. It shares it to a wide audience and niche groups. Social media platforms like Instagram or TikTok could also share behind the scenes clips. Eventually, I would sell it to Disney, Netflix, or Hulu, or any streaming platform. To send it to Netflix, I would need a script of the movie. I would need connections to people in the industry, for example, a licensed agent or manager who has worked with Netflix before. I would then have to make sure it meets Netflix standards. I would have to work with an aggregator who would pitch my movie to Netflix and be wary of the fact that Netflix does not accept direct submissions. I would have to create a digital cinema package, which could cost around $10,000. And finally, I would have my agent submit the film to Netflix and wait to see if it gets approved. I know I skipped parts. Additionally, the film could be submitted to film festivals, which are important for gaining recognition and reaching different audiences. Festivals such as Sundance Film Festival or BFI, London Film Festival, provide opportunities for exposure, networking, and potential distribution deals. This would help the film reach both general audiences and professionals. Overall, the product engages audiences through suspense, atmosphere, and relatable genre conventions. Over the course of this project, my production skills developed significantly in terms of using tools and creative decision-making, especially with the setbacks I faced. At the beginning, I approached the film process with a fairly basic understanding of the elements of production. Working with even just my phone's camera, CapCut, actors, scripts, scheduling, and everything else in filmmaking, I gained a lot of valuable knowledge and experience. I got better with my camera angles and creativity with depth. I learned good ways to use lighting in this despite it being filmed at night. And I also learned how to organize times and schedule with other people, to name a few things. For example, my brother was in this film with me, and I had scheduling messages that would send 2 hours and 30 minutes before the film. Are you still filming? Yeah. One of the most noticeable areas of improvement, oh my god, let's just keep filming. One of the most noticeable areas of improvement was in my planning and organization. Okay. One of my most noticeable areas of improvement was in my planning and organization. After I realized that I had to change my whole plot, I made checklists. This helped me save time and ensure that my final product was more cohesive and aligned with my new vision as best as possible. Technically, my skills also improved a great deal. At the start, I was only comfortable with using basic features of CapCut, and I often avoided more advanced tools because I wasn't sure on how to use them. Through experimentation, I slowly became more familiar with these features, such as typography. This allowed me to create a smoother, better produced looking work. I also became better at fixing problems on my own. Going back to my plot change, that was a very unexpected and unfortunate thing that definitely set me back quite a bit, but I definitely persevered and made everything work. I did realize that in the future, I should check weather and things that I may have not thought about first to ensure I don't waste any time or materials. I originally bought wood for my first film, but then I didn't end up using it because of having to change my plot. I did make sure it was repurposed, and it would have been better to do more research before starting anything, even buying equipment. Another important development was my ability to evaluate and revise my own work. Initially, I found it difficult to truthfully tell what was working and what wasn't. I would often settle on things because it was easier. After filming it several times on different days, After filming it several times on different days, I became more willing to revise my work and see what was working and what wasn't. Oh my god. I started paying closer attention to details that I would have not checked before. Feedback from peers or other self-reflection became a valuable part of my process, rather than something I avoided. At the beginning, I was not interested in changing my script, but after hearing ideas I decided it would be worth a shot. When coming up with my original idea, it felt forced because I was just making it and needed to speed things up. Then I had to rethink my project. I didn't rush anything. I let it all come to me creatively. Whenever I had an idea that fit into a horror theme, I would write it down and try to develop a whole project from it. If it worked, I tried it out, and if it didn't, I scrapped it and waited for a new idea to come to me. I ended up appreciating that process because it felt fun, not like I was just doing it for a grade. Overall, this project was a valuable learning experience that helped me grow as a producer. I moved from a basic, somewhat unstructured approach to a more confident and fun workflow. My technical skills and creativity and ability to reflect all improved, and now I have a stronger understanding of what it takes to create a solid final product that I am proud of. While there is still room for growth, I feel much more prepared for future products. That was terrible. While there is still room for growth, I feel much more prepared to take on future projects with a higher level of skill and confidence. I honestly used all forms of technology for planning and producing this entire thing. In any film, technology is used either for editing or filming. I use cameras to record all of my clips and audio in this opener. I use CapCut to edit everything. For my sound, I extracted audio from some videos I filmed of trees rustling and cut out the video part and just used the audio of the trees. I edited all of the clips together and tried to have the smoothest transitions possible. I used digital software tools to plan the structure and content of the film. Script writing and storyboarding were completed using a phone, which allowed me to easily edit ideas, organize scenes, and visualize the narrative. For the production phase, hardware played a central role. I used a phone camera to capture quality footage. In some scenes, I incorporated additional equipment such as external lighting pieces like flashlights. Lighting conditions were carefully managed using flashlight settings and certain angles to light certain parts of each shot. The most important part of technology I used was CapCut, because without it, my film would just be a bunch of clips out of order, not put together. I used it to assemble clips, trim footage, and structure the sequence of scenes. This software also allowed me to add transitions, adjust color, and enhance audio levels and clarity. These tools were essential in shaping the raw footage into a coherent and engaging final film. Tutorials and guides were available on platforms like YouTube and TikTok. Educational platforms helped me learn new editing techniques and troubleshoot issues I encountered while working with different things. Additionally, I used online platforms to store and manage my project files.
Cloud storage allowed me to back up footage and access it across different devices, like my phone and laptops, which reduced the risk of data loss. This also made it easier to organize video clips that needed to be separate from others. Overall, the technology I used was essential to the success of my short film. Each component supported a different part of the production, and together they created my final product. The combination not only improved the technical quality of the film, but also expanded my creative possibilities, helping me experiment and change my ideas during the process.